All right, so welcome. We're very excited. This is our first webinar for the new acceleration guide that we prepared for agent investors. And hopefully you have downloaded it and you have it in your hands and you're exploring it. But what we wanted to do is just go through some of the pillars and some of the tools that are available for agent investors to increase your income, to build wealth, even build generational wealth. To grow your business, to expand your impact, and hopefully have some fun doing it. Because real estate investing is both very, very exciting and very interesting. And it can be obviously very impactful for you and for your clients, both your existing clients and clients that you attract through sharing, talking about real estate investing. Love this quote. You can get anything you want if you will help enough people get what they want. And I think that really applies to real estate investing, because the people who are your clients, again, either existing clients or future clients, you're helping them buy or sell their house. But once you've done that, you have the opportunity to help really expand their worlds and to help them achieve wealth building, net worth building, income growth, tax benefits, all kinds of amazing things. But you really only have the opportunity to do that if you yourself are simultaneously familiar with real estate investing and not scared of it, and especially not limited by limiting beliefs that some people have that aren't true. So our goal, sort of first off, is to help you understand real estate investing yourself. And you may be an expert at real estate investing at all facets of real estate investing, so this might be very boring for you, or you might be really familiar with buying and rehabbing single family houses and renting them out, but you're not that familiar with wholesaling, or you're not that familiar with private lending, or you're not that familiar with multifamily or something like that. And I'm not going to try to go over every element of real estate investing here. That's why we have our awesome faculty, and that's why we have our awesome Agent Investor Resource Center, so that you can pick and choose what strategies or what vehicles you're really interested in, and you can dig into them for you in your personal investing and for your clients. So this slide here talks about inventory, and this is really an inventory for you and an inventory for your clients as we move through the pillars. I would say that these categories or these criteria are sort of what will help determine what type of investing you want to do, where you might have limitations that you need to train up on, and what are your assets and your liabilities. So a lot of times I'm going to be talking about income with regards to if you're trying to qualify for traditional mortgage financing, certainly your assets, what kind of risk tolerance you have, your goals obviously are important, as well as your experience in history. You may have a bucket list. You'd like to buy a hotel. You'd like to buy land. You'd like to buy a second home. But then your network, who can you rely on to help out with a rehab? Who can you rely on to do property management? Now, you're a real estate agent. What's great about that, when I talk to regular people, normal people, no offense, right? When I talk to normal people, they don't have the built-in advantages that you do in terms of network, tools, access to information, ability to profit on deals that you don't do personally. So this is something that you want to be aware of, is that you are an invaluable network piece for someone else, and you should have your own network, obviously, as well. And then your liabilities. Now, you might have financial liabilities, right? Many of us do, up to and including a house payment. But it's also your emotional or intellectual liabilities, right? You might think, oh, I could never buy a multifamily house, or, oh, private lending, I don't understand it, or I could never buy land, or I could never do note buying, or any of that kind of stuff. Or you might just fear certain elements of real estate investing because of what you've heard. It's really good in the same way that you want to know. I mean, I'm a mortgage broker. In the same way that when I'm evaluating somebody as a client, I need to know their income and their assets and their credit. Then it's good to know what your emotional liabilities are, because you might choose to train up on them. You might choose to challenge them. But we'll talk about that a little bit. It's something very important as you'll deal with clients, especially as you're dealing with your A+, high income, high asset, great credit clients. They really have no reason not to invest, but they might have resistance to investing. And you really have to challenge your own resistance if you're going to be able to help them, help advise them, or help coach them into choosing investment vehicles that are right for them. It's said sometimes that sales is the transfer of enthusiasm from the seller to the buyer. And you really should tap into, if you're going to be an agent investor, you really should tap into enthusiasm about real estate investing so that you can, quote unquote, sell your clients on what's right for them. So you probably have already heard this ad nauseum because I've said it over and over again, but let's just review what the pillars are, because we're going to start with 1 and go through 4. Pillar number 1 is investing yourself. This is your own personal investing. Whether you've invested at all before or whether you are brand new, there's probably a next step for you in terms of investing. And we want to really, at a starting point, is put you on a path to taking your next step with regards to investing. If you don't own a property, it's probably to buy a property. If you don't own your own home, it's probably to buy your own home. If you own your own home but you don't have an investment property, it's probably to buy an investment property. And then if you own an investment property, it might be to buy another one. It might be to buy a small multifamily house, like a duplex. It might be that you're ready to move on to an apartment building or to buy land, or it could be that you have enough equity or enough equity or liquid cash that you are interested in doing private lending. But really, it's just about understanding the different ways to profit from real property and the real transactions, and then pick what works for you. And you're going to find that we're going to repeat that in Pillar 2, which is about advising your clients who are already investors to take that next step, to next level their investing. Pillar 3 is coaching your clients, which I'm guessing is the largest percentage, coaching your clients who obviously might own a home, but they haven't sort of jumped into the pool of real estate investing. So they're not taking advantage of the leverage, the income, the appreciation, the depreciation, the tax benefits, all of that stuff. They're not taking advantage of that. And really, that is your job. Your job is to understand it enough, to be connected to the benefits enough that you can help people who are not investors become investors. And again, Pillar 3 are people who are already in your sphere of influence, your old clients. Pillar 4 is maybe called recruiter. And that is really kind of like being an evangelist a little bit, going out into the world and saying, let me be your guide to real estate. Now, obviously, you're their guide for buying or selling their home, but you also want to position yourself as their guide to, frankly, the more complex, the more interesting, maybe, and the more evergreen world of investing. One of the great things about positioning yourself as an agent investor is that you can work with clients beyond that once every 7 to 10 to 15 year period when they buy their primary residence, buy or sell their primary residence. And what's also cool is that you can grow your clientele, whether it's your Pillar 2, people who might want to if left to their own devices, if they didn't have a trusted guide, maybe they only buy a property once every 3 years. Well, you might work with them and discover that it would be valuable for them and possible for them to buy more frequently. And then people who haven't bought, obviously you're helping them get into the world. And then people that you don't even know, you're going to find that real estate investing is very magnetic. It's going to be great for you talking to your existing clients. It's going to be great for you talking to people that don't know you yet, don't know, like, and trust you yet as a real estate expert. And talking about real estate investing is going to draw them into your sphere of influence. And then you can help you sort of move them into Pillar 3, where you coach them up. So those are the 4 pillars. And then we talk about the toolbox. And you can absolutely, you're empowered to go out and use everything that you learn here today and everything that you have in the guide to go forth in the world and do it on your own. But I'm going to encourage you to stay connected with us at the National Association of Real Estate Agent Investors because we work on tools and resources to help you in all 4 of those pillars. So that's a little illustration. So as I said, pillar one is you. This is just, you growing your net worth, growing your income, using your leverage to increase your portfolio as a personal real estate investor. And so how do we do that? What we want you to do is to learn the strategies and to connect with resources, right? If you go to the website, if you go to agent-investor.org, you're going to see an incredible array of experts. Some of these are 20-year, 30-year, 40-year experts, names you might have heard of. In some cases, they're informational gurus, right, and speakers. But you're also going to run into people who've just started, but they're learning and they're sharing what they know about real estate acquisition, landlording, finances, advanced strategies, etc. And in some cases, they have stuff to sell, either services to sell, or maybe they have coaching programs to sell. And you can always decide if you're interested in any of that stuff. But my goal, our goal, is to help you be aware of the strategies as a professional, right? As an agent investor. I talked already about eliminating limiting beliefs and obstacles. Once you decide, once you're no longer sort of on the outside looking in, then it becomes time to say, well, what's stopping you, right? What is stopping you? Is it a fear? Is it a fear of not having a network? Is it not having assets? Anything the great thing about real estate is that it's always in other people's business, right? You're always using other people's money. You're using other people's experience. You're using other people's time. You're using other people's resources to accomplish your goals. And really one of those pieces is connecting with a network and team members. So the fundamental belief is that you're a real estate professional. You're in the business of buying and selling real estate. You are uniquely positioned to benefit from being more engaged and active as a real estate investor. And it can even help your real estate business, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later. But you are uniquely positioned to be successful as a real estate investor if you have the right resources, the right beliefs, and the right network. So just as an example, what we try to do is put some topics in front of you. And I'm pretty aware, as I was looking at this PowerPoint, I'm pretty aware that a lot of these topics are recurring, right? The same topics that we're going to talk to you about in Pillar 1 are the topics that you're going to talk to your advanced investor clients or your active investor clients in Pillar 2, and talk to your non-investing clients in Pillar 3, and you're going to talk to the world about in Pillar 4. So everything that you see, this is important, everything that you see that we share with you is grabbable, brandable, and shareable for you to share with your clients. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, and you're really going to have to probably experience it in order to get it. But if you just think about your job is to get smarter, more competent, and confident in these different strategies, and then go forth into your network and share. So whether it's buying your first rehab, estimating rehab cost, a big, big deal. What are some of the tools that you have, whether it's MLS access, the ability to get a commission on a deal, working with wholesalers, which you may not be familiar with. Wholesalers might be a dirty word for you, but wholesalers are not a dirty word for investors, okay? Wholesalers are a great word for investors if you understand what wholesaling is and how to profit from it. And then some other things that are more like sort of asset protection or tax benefits, right? Like you may or may not know what 1031 exchanges are. You may not know that you could buy property, or your clients can buy properties in using their IRA, or different asset protection strategies. Well, first off, let's get you to understand these things and figure out which of these you want to implement in your own real estate investing world. And then, of course, you can share those with your clients. So this is a very primitive and startup diagram that describes a path to wealth. This is not the path to wealth. This is just a path to wealth. And it tries to include some of the different things that you can do, or that even your clients can do, as a real estate investor. And so it starts on the left here with the low down payment plans. Like if you have, again, a lot of times we're talking to your clients, your active clients, and we really want you working with A+ borrowers, high credit, high asset, high income clients because they have more opportunities. But if you're talking to new clients, then sharing with them low down payment or down payment assistance programs. And then the idea of house hacking, which if you haven't heard, it's really, really cool concept for people getting into their first home and how to turn them into investors right off the get. All of these use the strategies of leverage and equity, right? Leverage meaning the ability to use other people's money to buy a house. And then equity is what can you do as that house starts to appreciate, or as you buy down your mortgage, or in the case of an investment, your renters buy down your principal so that you have equity in the property. But then going back to the low down payment and the house hacking, that's getting people into their primary property. Now, if you have clients that you've sold houses to, they've already got their primary property. So their next step might be their first investment property. And that property is probably either going to be a fix and flip, or it's going to be a buy and hold property. So understanding the financing, understanding the income, understanding the taxes, understanding all of those things is valuable. Now, you don't have to be an expert on all this stuff. You just have to have a network. And with Agent Investor, you have the greatest network of all time because you have people out there who are sharing their knowledge and experience very freely, very openly, because they know, like you know, that people need help implementing those strategies. And you can be one of the people who helps your clients implement any strategy that they or you learn through our Agent Investor Resource Center. So after they bought their first investment property, it leads to this concept of BRRRR. I love this. I've only heard about this recently, but I love it. It's buy, rehab, refinance, rent, and repeat. And so, if we're talking about house stacking, if we're talking about using the equity from a previous house in order to buy the next house, then that's a really great approach. So now we're at house stacking, and then you start getting into sort of, I would say, more complex, but also very lucrative opportunities. And one thing to remember in terms of a limiting belief is that you may not be interested in all these strategies. Now, you might grow to be interested as you sort of challenge your own limiting beliefs and you realize that your situation, your debt to income ratio, your status as a self-employed borrower, any of these things may not hold you back as much as you thought that they did. You might also discover that you don't have to be scared of tenants and toilets, and you might have to help your clients challenge their own fears of those things as well. But one other thing to remember is that you have a diverse group of clients, and you don't want your limiting beliefs to hold them back, right? You might be scared of private lending, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be scared of it. You might be scared of buying an apartment complex, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be scared of it. I noticed that I misspelled family. That might say something about my life. So one of the things you just want to be aware of is the clearer you are about what it takes to be successful as an investor in any of these areas, obviously that's going to help you in your own investor journey, but it's also going to prevent you from stepping on the possibilities for your clients. So I'm not going to go through all of these because fundamentally this is, we're going to talk about this ad nauseum through our weekly workshops and through the 101 trainings and that sort of thing. But this is something that's in your guide, and it just gives a little bit of a overview of some of the different strategies that investors can use. So I'll just go, and I've tried to put in here a little bit of a definition and then some related terms. As I said in the guide, we didn't print out the internet and just put it in the guide. If you want a glossary of terms, then we're going to be we're going to make that available, but we're also going to be sharing that in each of our trainings. And the way it works is that every Thursday there's going to be a new training, and that can be either an interview, or it can be a presentation, or it could even be a resource that's already out on the web that we just kind of annotate and discuss. But what we do on Mondays is share what I call the Monday brief. And this is just 5 great resources that we've found on the internet. It could be an article, it could be a video, it could be a website, and share them with you so that you can incorporate those either into your own knowledge acquisition or you can share it with your clients. All of these, remember, are grabbable, brandable, and shareable. So I want to make sure that when you're sharing something with your clients, they realize that it's coming from you. It's your Agent Investor Resource Center. They go there, they drink up, they eat your material because it's all handpicked. You know, I mean, if I share something with you, then you get to decide whether you're going to share it with your most important, most valuable asset, right? That's your network. Those are your clients. So we got house hacking, we got self-directed IRA investing, apartment buildings, note buying, land as an investment, duplexes, which are small multifamilies, single family house rental, which is probably the most commonly understood investment vehicle. Then the single family house fix and flip, right? This is where you're buying, you're rehabbing, and then you're reselling. Private money lending. Many people don't understand the opportunity that's available with private money lending. And just full disclosure, one of the things I really like to talk about as a mortgage person, right, is I like to talk about how to access the equity either in your primary house or in your investment properties, and then what to do with it. And sometimes what you want to do with it is buy property, but sometimes what you want to do with it is lend it, because the first rule of business, whether that's entrepreneurship or investing, is buy low and sell higher, right? So if you are able to borrow money at 3.5% and you're going to be able to sell that money at 9% or 11% or 12%, well, you've created a really nice income stream. Now, none of these things are for the weak at heart, and they're certainly not for people who don't take the time to become professional or experts in the area, right? What's the expression? A fool and his money? Well, you can't afford to be a fool, and you certainly should not be allowing your clients to be fools. But there's also an expression that says money never sleeps, right? And one of your goals is to help your and your clients' money be productive as possible. So I said that again. Okay, so then wholesaling. And I talk about wholesaling a little bit. I actually do a little diagram because I used to teach a course on wholesaling. It's very valuable and important for you to understand wholesaling, even if you never and your clients never want to do the kind of down and dirty work of going and finding properties. Wholesalers go out and find properties and they put them under contract. And then you, as a rehabber or as an end buyer, or your clients as rehabbers or landlords, can buy those contracts and work on this property. So all that work, right? All the work of going out and getting those properties that are not on the MLS, right? That's where you're going to be finding a lot of deals that are not on the MLS. Those you should understand wholesaling. We've got great programs. In fact, there's a great program, a great guy in our Agent Investor Resource Center who talks about wholesaling, and you could do a lot worse than spending an hour listening to him talk about wholesaling. So that was really just getting us an overview of some of the topics. Now, as we go into Pillar 2 and Pillar 3 and Pillar 4, as you become an expert or at least knowledgeable in certain of these areas, then you're going to want to share that with your clients. You don't have to buy apartment buildings in order to share apartment building content with your clients. You don't have to be a private money lender in order to share this knowledge. You, in theory, don't even have to be an investor. But I certainly would challenge you to say, well, why aren't you investing? If it's a good investment, if it's a good, opportunity, if it's the way that wealth is built in this country, generational wealth is built in this country, then why aren't you doing it yourself? There's a marketing expression. It's not a marketing expression. I think it's just a product development or business expression that says, you want to, if you're a dog food company, you want to eat your own dog food. Find out what's good. Is it good? Is what you're selling any good? And if you're going to be talking about investing in real estate, then you should at least be exploring it yourself, which is really what Pillar 1 is. So let's move to Pillar 2. This is about helping your clients who are already active investors buy more properties and take their portfolio to the next level. So this is not converting people who aren't investors, selling them on the ideal and investing. This is helping them see how they can make their current properties or investments more profitable by reducing their expenses, by systematizing their businesses, by increasing their income, by improving the value of the property. And it may also be, if we go back to that wealth diagram, it may be finding additional opportunities for them, either new properties or different strategies. So really the way this plays out is you inventory your clients to figure out which ones are active investors. You may already know. You might want to talk to your lender because your lender may know, right? As your lender has pre-approved the client, you and your lender could discuss, well, let me hold back on that. So you want to inventory your clients to identify which ones are active investors. One of there's two good ways to do that, right? One is to ask them, say, hey, are any of you guys, do any of you guys own properties? Because I can help make those properties more profitable, or I can help you find additional properties or help you with the properties that you do find. Another way to do that, and this is something that's a little bit a softer sell, is to share either an opportunity or a resource. For instance, if you shared a available deal, well, typically the people who are active investors are going to be the first people to say, I'm interested in taking a look at that. You can also share a great resource. And one of the best ways to share a resource is either a guide or a webinar or a video. So let's say that you have an active investor and you're sharing a video about how to manage your remote landlording properties more profitably or with less stress. Well, there may be people who aren't active investors who are interested in that, as we'll see in pillar number 3 and pillar number 4. But the people who are naturally going to be most interested in that topic are people who own property, right? So sharing things like investor financing, sharing things like landlording, sharing things like tenant management, sharing things like how to take the equity of your one investment property and buy a second investment property. You don't even necessarily have to, in advance, inventory or segment your list. You can put your content out in front of your list, and they're going to segment themselves based on what they're interested in. So that's number 2, inviting them to upcoming workshops. And then one of the things that you're going to have access to as a member is the Agent Investor Resource Center. And that's where we take all of our content, right? All the content that we're either creating or organizing and putting it into one place that's branded with you. You're the agent investor, right? You're the one who gets to pick and choose which of these things you want to make available to your clients. But we create the platform. We create the repository where people can register, log in, and access that information. So this is a little bit of repeat, but one of the big things to be aware of is that you do have clients and members in your sphere, and they are active investors. But they may not know all the strategies. And so it's your job, if you care about your clients, to help expose them to stuff that will be beneficial to them. So we got these wealth building strategies. Some of them are repeated. We say a lot of the same things because I won't say there's a limited number of strategies because there's really an unlimited number, but some of them repeat. And so you might have somebody who's a fix and flipper and they're scared of holding, right? They may not understand about short-term rentals like Airbnbs and stuff like that. They might not understand about multiplexes or multifamilies. They might not understand new home construction. They might not understand parking lots as an investment or commercial space. And you may not understand it, as we've already discussed. But that doesn't mean that you can't train yourself up and that you can't share content as you're learning it. Share it with your clients. Again, as long as you're learning it, then that's positioning you as a great resource, as an advisor to your clients. So just some more topics. Now, before we move on to pillar 3, why would we do this? Well, imagine that you have, let's say, 5% of your current sphere of influence own investment properties. Now, there is nothing stopping them from buying another property this year except for an awareness of what's possible for them. They might not want to, but do they not want to because they think that they won't be able to qualify carrying another mortgage? Do they not want to because they think that there is a limit to how many properties that they can finance with conventional financing? Is there a limit? Are they limiting themselves because they're not aware of hard money as a way to buy rehab properties and a way to refinance? Do they not know about private lending? Do they not know about using their self-directed IRA? Are they God help them if they're not using 1031 exchanges to protect their capital gains from taxes, right? This is really the opportunity that you have to be able to take existing active investors and turn them into additional transactions. And those transactions should be, for you, commissions, right? Not only are they commissions for you, but think about what an investment property can mean for you as a real estate agent. Investment properties need renters, and the renters then typically will go out and buy properties afterwards, right? You're out there looking for new first-time home buyers. Well, where are first-time home buyers living right now? They're living at home, or they're living in rented single-family houses, or they're living in multifamily houses. I'm sorry, like apartment buildings, all of which your clients could be in the business of purchasing. And you can help them fill those properties, or if you don't want to do rentals, you could outsource that, delegate that to another agent. But you can be right at the middle of a sort of a magnet for properties and for tenants and potential buyers. Another thing to think about is that as your active investors are looking at deals, especially if they're working for wholesalers go around, they're constantly finding sellers. You have to, right? You have to find people who are willing to sell their house. But really, it's typically 1 out of 20 of the people that they talk to that are, because of the property situation or because of the seller situation, it's going to turn into a potential deal. But that means that there are 19 sellers out there who are looking to sell for top dollar, or whose house is not in bad enough shape to be able to, for the wholesaler to get a discount on the property. Well, that means that if you're in this world, you have access to a lot of potential seller prospects as well. So that's just something to think about. We'll do an entire program on how you as an real estate agent investor can work with investors to drive real estate prospects to your business, okay? But that's it for pillar number 2. Pillar number 3, we're really just talking about now taking people who haven't yet made the leap and helping them see what's possible. Now, think about it. You already have 5% of your sphere of influence that are real estate investors, which means they have made the decision to buy investment property. They are hopefully making income. They're getting tax benefits. They're getting appreciation. They've dealt with and overcome some of the challenges of landlording. Well, those are great stories. Those are great lessons learned. Those are great social proof to share with your 95% of your sphere of influence that are not yet investors. And that's exactly what we do, right? We try to have you share your successes personally, the successes of your pillar 1 or pillar 2 people, and help all of that work together to teach non-investing clients what they can do. I mean, maybe it's a situation where they're looking to buy, you have a new family that has just bought their first home, right? We're hoping it's going to appreciate. They can explore strategies for improving the value of that house through renovation financing, right? They can use the after repair value of the property to pay for the renovation. They may not even know that. You might not even know that, but that's something that our investing loan officers can help you with. But let's say that they're also they have a child and they're thinking about saving money for college. Well, maybe what they could do is buy an investment property and have that be their child's college savings plan. Or they're thinking about their own retirement and they want to buy a property that's going to be paid off in 20 years. How's it going to be paid off? It's going to be paid off by the renter, right? So these are all strategies where we want you to be sharing. In some cases, it's very, very traditional, 2,000-year-old strategies. and in some cases, it's exciting, creative strategies for your clients to take dip their toe in the pool and get started with wealth building. So again, inventorying your clients, figuring out who might have some equity in their property, talking to them, sharing with them content that attracts them into it. A real estate investing 101, a landlording 101, a home renovation paid for by your home equity 101. These are all things that you can share with them. We give you content to share, to grab, brand, and share with your clients, and then you follow up with them. Now, one of the best things you can do with all of these guys, certainly pillar 1, right? You want to do it. Pillar 2 and pillar 3 is you connect with your loan officer, and you do go through the process of getting a pre-qualification or pre-approval so that you and they and the loan officer know what's going on, what's possible, and which investing strategy and what investing timeline is best. So one of the best ways to do that is Real Estate Investing 101. So we can help you in all kinds of ways, right? You can use our script and record your own workshop. You can create your own workshop from scratch. You can use our workshop and just have you do an introduction on that workshop, or you can assemble your own workshop using different speakers. All of this is possible based on what you have access to as a member in Agent Investor. Okay, these are great tools for fitting into how you want to be in this particular pillar of coaching your clients. And this really, I'll just do a little spoiler alert, this really leads into pillar 4, which is when we start recruiting and leveraging tools, because Real Estate Investing 101 and even 201 and advanced strategies are great ways to attract new people into your sphere. But I don't want to steal my thunder. So in the Agent Investor Resource Center, you've got workshops, you've got trainings, you've got templates, you've got stuff that you can assemble, right? You might say, I want to get this guy talking about wholesaling. I want to get this guy talking about rehabbing. I want to get this gal talking about investor financing. And I want to get, this guy over here talking about property management. And I'm going to introduce it. Well, that in the Agent Investor Resource Center is as simple as clicking a few buttons. And then you record your introduction, and you've got yourself an out-of-the-box webinar, video, page that you can share with your clients. Now, remember, you already have access to all these people. This isn't out there. This isn't out about advertising. This is just about serving your clients. And you can poll them. You can survey them. You can ask them what they want to learn about. But one of the best ways to do that, frankly, especially when it's as easy as what we make it with Agent Investor, one of the best ways to do that is just create something and share it. You'll be able to tell who's interested in it, right? And whether they attend the workshop or whether they just follow up with you and say, hey, I'm really interested in getting started with that conversation you had about buying a property in a college town for a possible college savings plan for my kid. Or I was really interested in self-directed IRAs. Can you tell me more about that? Well, you're going to know enough to be dangerous, and you're going to have a big enough network to be helpful. So this is just an example of the content sharing mastermind. Basically, what you do is you go click on a resource. I don't know if I have this right. Yep, no, I sort of do. You'll see this a little bit later. But you click on a resource, and then you can brand it. And I'll show you what the branding looks like in a second. So this bleeds into it well, because as a recruiter, your job or your opportunity really is to use real estate investing as a hook to attract new clients. And this is for both investment and for primary buyers and sellers. You might find that you're going to use real estate investing as a hook, and most of the people that you bring in are really going to be interested in just, it's going to position you as the guide that people want and need, right? That maybe they'll buy, maybe they'll become investors, maybe they won't. But it won't be for lack of having a trusted guide that they appreciate and respect. And then you can brand and share content to generate new prospects. So this is something where maybe you don't do a webinar, maybe you just post stuff on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Nextdoor, but it's all branded with your business. And we're going to talk a lot about how to create your own teaching content, because it's very, very easy when you know something to share it, right? We live in a world where it's very, very easy to do that. So you know a lot and you can share a lot. And we'll talk about how to go from maybe a limiting belief that says, I don't really know anything about this. Maybe what you're doing is interviewing other people. Maybe you're interviewing your clients. One of the things that we love doing, we have this youth entrepreneurship program. And one of the things I love to do is to get deals from our clients. And, after the deal has been bought and everything, or somebody has gotten the deal, we then take that and use that as a case study with young entrepreneurs, young investors. And they say, all right, how much would you pay for that deal? And then, of course, we know the details, right? We know that they estimated repair cost at $40,000 and then they went up to $80,000, or they thought it was going to sell for $250,000 and it sold for $235,000, right? All of these things. So they get to see, was that a good deal, or not? And then, of course, we share with you ideas and strategies for how to share that content. I even alluded to a few, right? Posting some interesting talks or content on Facebook is great. We show you how to become kind of farm famous in your geographic farm, or to how to do a workshop in partnership with one of your affinity organizations, like a community organization or a charity, and even have that be a fundraiser for that organization. Lots and lots of great ways when you move outside of your sphere of influence and you're seeking to bring people into your sphere of influence. Really, real estate investing is an amazing evergreen tool for doing that. It's, the majority of people in any given time are not looking to buy or sell their house, right? But a vast majority of people at any given time are interested in wealth building, are interested in income, and specifically are interested in real estate investing, because real estate investing is exciting. So I kind of talked about this. One of the things I allude to, but I didn't really say, is we just like I was suggesting you could, we put together these trainings by assembling different resources, stuff off the web, some of the stuff we create, some of the stuff our faculty creates, some stuff we just grab off the web, and we create these trainings. And we create them with little micro certifications. So let's say we do a training on rehabbing, or a training on lease options, or a training on buying subject to the existing mortgage, or a training on landlording. And then you and your clients, if you want, can go through those and do little micro certifications. Now, for you, it's good because you get to interact with other agent investors and you can see sort of who knows what. But you can also then just personally, whether you're using this as like a certification, on your email, the kind of alphabet soup on your email, or whether you're just recognizing that now you're 100% smarter about private lending than you were, or about apartment buildings than you were, you can keep track of it. So I talk about Deal Makers panel and online studio video sessions a little bit later, because those are coming in the fall. But Deal Makers panel basically is a place where people can share their deals and talk about their deals. And these are both deals that have been done and then deals that are available. So it's kind of like a deal exchange of sorts. So this is an example of grabbing, branding, and sharing. And I really didn't grab a good agent investor topic. This is just 3 common mistakes made by new real estate agents. But this is, I don't know who Loida Velasquez is. She just has a video up on YouTube. But what we have is on the toolbox, you can go to that video and you can grab it, as Dan Rashan, a good friend of mine, did. Dan went there and grabbed it, and now he shares a unique link. And when any of his clients click on that, they come to a page that looks just like this, or similar to this, actually. It's branded a little bit more with him, but they watch the video and they see that it was shared by Dan. So that's really when I talk about grabbing, branding, and sharing, that's what I'm talking about. So again, a few things about the website. The weekly workshops on Thursdays, those go out. We do our Monday brief with just the best resources. One thing I didn't talk about here is our awards. Every month, we obviously have new members, and we want to celebrate our new members and welcome our new members, but we also want to celebrate people who are doing things. And whether that's pillar 1, you buying your first investment property, or your 5th, or taking a leap onto something else, starting private lending or apartment investing or something like that, we want to celebrate you. And we also want to celebrate what you've done for your clients. So if you've helped somebody who's never invested in real estate before, you've helped them buy their first landlording property, that's fantastic. If you've shared resources where you've helped somebody save money and taking something that might have been a money pit and turned it into a cash cow, that's fantastic, right? So we just try to every month celebrate people who are sort of doing the business of agent investing. I kind of alluded to that. All right, so we have our email every Monday, the Monday brief, the weekly workshops, and then we try to do a kind of online networking on Fridays. And then coming soon, as I mentioned, we'll have our orientation, our awards. And then one of the things that we're going to experiment with, we'll see, I like it, is this online studio shoot. And what that means is if you are interested in creating content, then we get you together and we can record some of that content with you, right? Let's say it's just an introduction to a real estate investing 101. Well, we'll get you online, we'll record it, and then we'll make it available for you. Make it a little easier for you. We also have a great guide for how to do your own sort of just with your camera video shoot. And that actually is a bonus if you're interested in becoming a member of the Agent Association. Resources, we'll just go through this. All right, so we got some great people out here. There's an amazing collection of resources, and we grow all the time because anybody who's doing anything is typically sharing what they're doing. So on the website, you see some incredible resources of people. And if you know of somebody that you'd like to hear from, let us know. But another suggestion is that we can coordinate you interviewing them. It's a great way to position yourself as an agent investor, is to interview somebody who knows something that you don't know, because then that is a great way to establish yourself as an expert, even when you're the one asking the questions. All right, so I'll finish up. In your guide, we talk about, there is an overview of what it means to be a member of the National Association. So you've probably already been here, and this is where we talk about what it means to be a member of the Agent Investor Association. Some of the benefits of membership, these will change, by the way, especially the bonuses. Sometimes we take away bonuses, sometimes we add bonuses, but you certainly have your year membership. You have access to a private Facebook group. We have an Agent Investor Member Handbook, which kind of takes everything that we're talking about here and expands it. So to really give you the templates, to give you the tools, to give you the checklist, et cetera, that will help you implement these strategies in your business. As I mentioned, you have these weekly interviews and trainings. You have access to the transcripts, the audio, and the slides, if there are slides for those trainings. We have our 101s, and that's where you can dig into a particular topic and get your micro certification. The grab, brand, and share content repository, it's really going to turn you into a superstar if you think about it, because what it's going to allow, you can certainly go grab anything off of YouTube right now, but when you share it, you're sharing it in a way that really doesn't send people back to you. And that's really what we want to have happen, because when you are sending people back to you, you're sending them back to your Agent Investor Resource Center, where they can opt in, just like you opted in here. They can download your Real Estate Investing 101 guide or your landlording guide, just like you downloaded this guide. And they can come to a video which has you or you in combination with us explaining real estate investing, just like we kind of did here, even though we didn't really go into real estate investing all that much. So this is really how we help you grow. And if you're interested in growing a little bit bigger, right, if you want to create your own little real estate investors group or real estate investors association, we can help you do that as well. So last thing I'll say is there are some bonuses, but these will change. They change sort of periodically. So just take a look and see what's up there on the website. And one thing I will say is, this is sort of my personal passion is youth entrepreneurship. And one of the ways that we want to help you and help others is that if you join as a member, we give you 4 scholarships in your name for our youth entrepreneurship program, where kids learn the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, marketing, and real estate investing. And you can share those with your social media, or you can share those with your sphere of influence or your clients. And when they register for that, when they register to claim their scholarship, then they see that it came from you. So a little mitzvah, a little bonus. The cost for joining as a member of the Agent Investor Association is $150. There is some concept that that's if you join in your first week. I don't know whether we'll do that or not, but if you start seeing the number 175 around a little bit, then you know that you just need to join. You join when it's 150. All right. So that's all. Next time you'll see me is either in the Facebook group or in some of the interviews, or potentially at our monthly awards. I look forward to working with you. Please let us know if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions. If there's somebody that you want to interview, if there's people that you'd like to connect with. These are the types of things that we want to do to help you be more successful. Pillar 1, Pillar 2, Pillar 3, Pillar 4. You're doing good work. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to talking to you.